What's going on, everybody? Happy Sunday. This is Bring the Noise here on Bleacher Report. I'm Danny Kleppinger, joined by the degenerate himself, Brad Evans. Good to see you, Brad. Obviously, a tough loss by your Fighting Illini on the court last night. So we will be focusing all things on your Bears here in just a second. Hopefully, that will brighten your mood.
I'm cautiously optimistic that's going to be the case. But thanks for twist and dagger there, DK. I have now bared witness to 3 games since I moved back to the Central ILL. To a buzzer beater against your Tennessee Volunteers last year, the buzzer beater yesterday in Nebraska, and salting away and squandering an opportunity to beat a highly ranked Arizona team in the waning moments. So I am 0 for 3. I have to stop attending Illinois games. I apologize, Illini Nation. It's all my fault.
He's going to get back on track here when it comes to football. How's that sound? It's going to put him in a good mood. It's
Yes.
going to put you guys in a
Yes.
good mood. Of course, kickoff is just under an hour away. We're going to go through every single game on the slate today. And then, of course, that Monday Night Football game as well. We'll give you some props, but of course, give you the best fantasy advice that we can give you. So send in your questions. We're monitoring both the Bleacher Report app and YouTube chat. So send on those questions. And I mentioned it, Brad. We'll just start with that first game. The Bears are favored by 7.5 against the Browns, who's coming off a 29-point performance against the Titans. But the Bears, their winning streak came to an end against the Packers. Hopefully they've licked up their wounds and can move forward here. What do you think is going to happen in this game?
Oh, if you like black and blue football, if you like ugliness, this is a game for you. Game time temperatures. Right now, I just checked the latest observations at NOAA in the city of Chicago, 6 degrees above zero. So it's trending in the right direction. The high probably is going to finish around 11 degrees. Wind chill is going to be around 10 to 20 below zero. It's going to be downright miserable. So as a result, offense is probably going to shave off a lot of opportunities, a lot of balls to belly. I'm going to take the under on Caleb Williams. 29 and a half pass attempts in this one, DK. Cleveland has only allowed 27.7 per game this season. I know Caleb has done this in 7 straight. But this game is like got 6-3 at best written all over it. Kind of a classic. You lived in Chicago for a while. You know how brutal the conditions can be along the lakeshore. Caleb Williams got to keep gun in holster and just hand the damn ball off to DeAndre Swift, common guy, and pray they get a victory.
Oh, thanks so much. That was a nice little segue because I do think Kyle Monangai, if you have him on your fantasy team, great. I think he gets into the end zone today. You can get that at plus 135 in some markets to be able to cross that end zone. Obviously, he had 5 touchdowns in a 7-game span, 4 games in a row until he played against the Packers. So I think he'll get in there yet again. Now, I just want to remind everybody, ask your questions on the Bleacher Report app and YouTube chat. We've got your last second fantasy football start sit advice, of course. Jay Nay, Brad, a pick 1, full PPR, Justin Jefferson, RJ Harvey, or Jacoby Myers.
Ooh, all interesting options. Believe it or not, Jefferson is the odd man out because I know he's got a great matchup, but do you really trust JJ McCarthy, or I should say 9, and that lame nickname that he has? I'm actually going to go with Jacoby Myers here. I think he's got a great shot. 5 receptions, 60-plus yards, and a touchdown with Jacksonville, heavily favored in a sensational matchup. It gets those puddle jumpers from Jersey.
Let's get to this Ravens Bengals game before we get to some more questions. Ravens are favored by 3, and obviously in the thick of the AFC playoff race. Bengals are grasping, trying to punch their postseason ticket as well. I think Jamar Chase is going to have a pretty big game. Obviously, no T.
Yep.
Higgins. They need a win to keep their playoff hopes alive. Over 91.5 receiving yards. He has no choice to go over. They need him. He hauled in 7 targets. He was targeted 14 times, 110 yards against the Ravens 2 weeks ago. So if he can duplicate that performance, it should go well for the Bengals. Brad, what do you think?
Yeah, Chase has absolutely murdered Baltimore in his career, so I think that's a great call there. Let's pin a likely story. I like Isaiah Likely anytime touchdown at plus 240. Yeah, let's roll the shoulders and get seduced by the juice on that one, DK. Cincinnati is historically bad defending the tight end. I give it up 7.5 receptions, 96.8 yards a game, and 15 total TDs just to tight ends. I think Mark Andrews got a great shot. I find the end zone plus 155, likely as well, plus 240. Coming off his first touchdown game, 5 catches, 40 yards, a TD. Very doable for the pride of Coastal Carolina.
Let's get to Ivan's question over on the Bleacher Report app. Fannin or Dowdle for flex? He already has Kittle, Bijan, and Marks playing.
I tell you what, Harold Fannin Jr. is kind of a jack of all trades. They can line him up in the backfield, split him out wide, put him in the slot. He just racks up receptions, racks up the targets. I think he's going to operate as a favorite weapon of Shedeur Sanders' short to immediate field against my Chicago Bears. So give me the tour de force of the Swiss Army knife that is Harold Fannin.
And real GM, Devin Singletary or DeAndre Swift today?
Not Singletary. Look, I understand he got a great match against Washington, but DeAndre Swift, ground and pound has been the Bears' nature. Last three games, they're calling run 48% of the time. They may call it 50+% of the time today.
All right, let's get into this Chargers-Chiefs game. Chiefs are actually favored by 6, even though the Chargers are riding high after their Monday Night Football win over the Eagles. Chiefs seem to be searching for answers. They're 6-7, had their second straight loss. Yikes, Brad. Is it time to press the panic button for Kansas City?
Yeah, it's a long time pass to press that panic button. Look, put them out of their misery, LAC. I need some new blood. I need some flesh blood there in the NFL postseason. A dynasty, the walls are crumbling. It's about to be over. So as a result, I'm going to back a bolt. Give me Omari and Hampton over 12.5 rush attempts at a +105. Little baby cities by the juice there, DK. You look at Kansas City. Yes, they've allowed the third fewest rush attempts to the running back position this season, 18.4 per contest. But Hampton only played 31.1% of the opportunity snap share last week. I think that's going to double. I know Greg Roman has said it's going to be a hot hand situation, but that dude is going to sport some fiery fingers. All I need is 13 balls of belly for him to cash over on this prop. I think he'll do that, and I think he's got a lot of flexi, sexy, and RB2 appeal in 12-team leagues this week.
Look, I know McConkey has kind of taken over that top spot for LA in terms of receivers, but I do think Keenan Allen can still eclipse 30 receiving yards. He's had at least 30 in 10 of 13 games this season. Against Kansas City back in week 1, he had 10 targets. He had 68 yards on 7 catches. So I do think he can build on that. 30 yards just doesn't seem like too much to ask for out of Keenan Allen. So that's what I'm paying attention to there. Over in our YouTube chat, Jay May needs 2 wide receivers, Flowers, Odunze, or Mechie.
Flowers, Adunze, Mechie. I need 2. You can't play Mechie. I'm still going to play Roma Dunze despite the brutal conditions here in the Windy City. And I know Cleveland's number 5 at drop back EPA defense over the last 5 weeks, but far more upside with him than John Mechie. And obviously, you're going to go on the front end guy whose name I just now forgot. But the first 2 that you listed, that's the way I go.
Okay, I already deleted it, so I lost it as well. I'm sorry. I keep this thing rolling, trying to check your questions here. Anthony, start Drake May or Lamar this week?
Drake May or Lamar, very close. I have these guys back to back in my rankings. I believe I had Drake May at QB4 and Lamar at QB5. So slight edge to Drake May.
Let's look at this Bills-Patriots game. Bills are favored by 2.5. I do think Josh Allen can go over 1.5 passing touchdowns. You can get it at even money. I've been doing this every single week, so I'm just going to keep rolling with the punches here. Patriots pass defense isn't great, but they've been kind of the schedule has been favored towards them. They're 17th in opponent success rate per drop back. He's got 2 or more touchdown passes in 8 of his 13 games this season. The fact that you can get it even money was very enticing for me. And you like a plus money wager in this one too.
Yeah, Trayvon Henderson. I know a lot of people are, kind of racking their brains on whether they can trust him. I say go ahead and get him in your lineups. I got him for 50+ rush yards at a +105. I like him in the anytime touchdown market, also at a +105. I think he's going to go for a minimum 60 yards on the ground with that TD and a really good shot to boost the bottom line with, say, 15 to 25 receiving yards. Again, the Bills haven't stopped a soul in the trenches this season, giving up 4.99 yards per carry, over 108 rush yards per game to RB. So number 31 in rush EPA defense. So Trayvon Henderson, as long as he's fed the rock, I'm talking to you, Vrabel. Give him the damn ball. If you do, he's going to reward everybody who rolled the dice on his services. So 50+ rush yards, +105, my best bet in this game.
Let's get to Commanders Giants. Giants are favored by 2.5. I do think Jackson Dart can get in the end zone. +155. I got a little seduced by the juice there, Brad, to be honest with you. He ran for a score in 5 straight games, obviously kept out of the end zone against New England before the bye, but touchdowns in 2 of his last home games as well. So +155. It's looking pretty good for Jackson Dart to cross the end zone line there.
Yeah, I think he's going to throw for a pair of touchdowns in this one, too. I think he's a top 10 fantasy quarterback this week. And a guy, look, if you want to roll the dice on a quarterback, start option, how about Marcus Mariota? Jane Daniels scores out. I'm going to go for 30 plus rush yards at plus 120. Remember, no Chris Rodriguez. He has been ruled inactive. A little bit of surprise after back-to-back limited sessions in practice this week. He's out with that tender love muscle. So I think Mariota could do a lot of damage there on the ground. The Giants are dead last in rush EPA defense this season. So middling, decent, but not exceptional option in fantasy this week is Marcus Mariota.
Let's get these questions rolling in. Keep sending them on YouTube chat and Bleacher Report app. We are monitoring both places there. Alex Rod joins us every single week. His question, Brad, do I start Lamar Jackson or do I bench him and start Brock Purdy? And then at running back, he wants to know about Neal or Dowdle. Let's start with that quarterback question.
Lamar Jackson, easily. I know it's going to be brutal conditions there. Temperatures in the teens, wind chills around 0, but it's the Bungles for crying out loud. They're the worst defense, one of the worst defenses in the NFL. So go with action, Jackson. What was the second one?
Running back, Neal or Dowdle?
Rico Arena Dowdle. I'll leave it there.
Okay, great stuff. I left that one there. This time I didn't delete it so that I'd be able to answer your follow-up question there. Start Sutton or Addison? Big Al wants to know over on the Bleacher Report app.
Addison, what was the other one? I missed that.
Sutton?
Sutton. It's not Jordan Addison. Look, I know he's got a great matchup. It's Dallas, but do you really trust JJ McCarthy? I sure as hell don't. Give me the guy tied to Bo Nix that Bo Nix loves to see in red zone packages. Cortland Sutton.
Full PPR league over on YouTube chat. BQ Sports Media wants to know, would you start DeAndre Swift or Devin Neal?
Ooh, really tough one here. Bears going to be heavy ground and pound. Again, I think they're going to run it greater than half of the time today. And the Browns that got skewered by the ground attack last week. DeAndre Swift.
All righty. Let's get to Anthony's question on YouTube. Start one at the flex. It's a full PPR. Diggs, Kyron Williams, Aaron Jones, Sutton, or Wilson?
Wilson's intriguing, but it's Houston, number one defense in the NFL. Kyron Williams, bruh. Start all your Rams. Start all your Lions. First to 100,000 wins.
It's going to be a shootout, that's for sure. Let's get to this Raiders-Eagles game and continue on throughout this slate here on this Sunday. Eagles are favored by 12.5. Obviously, still in the driver's seat of the NFC East, despite a 3-game losing streak. And a nice little place to get right is against Las Vegas, that's for sure. Brad, what are you looking at in this one?
All right, I'm going to take a shower after this recommendation. Kenny Pickett. Yes, Kenny Pickett. Small hands Pickett.
What?
I'll take the over on 8.5 rush yards at a minus 115. The Philadelphia Eagles have allowed the second most quarterback rush yards this season, almost 25 per game. Pickett in 25 career starts, averaging 11.1 rush yards per game. And sidebar, DK, you could be me and pour one out for me. I'm in a 16-team league, super flex league. I have to start Kenny Pickett as my quarterback too. Pray for me.
Wow.
That's real. That's real, folks.
You're going to need a little bit more than prayers. I'm going to be honest with you. Let's get AJ Brown into the mix here as well. They're force feeding him right now, double-digit targets in 4 consecutive games. I say he goes over 63.5 receiving yards here. Vegas is 30th in coverage grade. They surrendered the 10th highest dropback success rate as well. He's averaged 14.3 yards per reception over the last 3 games. This guy's gonna get over 63.5 receiving yards. It's the Raiders. Also,
yeah, bingo.
On my roster, and we don't have a choice because if you want to say some prayers, Brad, you're gonna need more on yours with Kenny Pickett. But I'll still take him for AJ Brown. Let's get to Jets Jaguars. Jacksonville, my gosh, coming in this weekend, 4-game win streak. They're favored by 14, Brad.
And understandably so, they should run roughshod over the Jets, also known as the single-engine Cessnas. Why am I a degenerate? Because I'm betting on a former quarterback now playing wide receiver in the NFL, Isaiah Williams. I'm taking the over on 8.5 receiving yards. Yeah, I'm a sicko at a minus 115. Williams has seen his role ramp up. He's been a special team extraordinaire this season. He played on 55.9% of the snap share last week, ran 21 routes, caught a couple of balls for 24 yards. Could be a similar output against Jordan Lewis, who's given up a 66.7% catch rate out of the slot. In fantasy, you want nothing to do with this guy.
Yeah,
This is
I was gonna
purely
say
for the
great advice.
degenerate gamblers. Yeah, purely for the degenerate gamblers. Isaiah Williams over 8.5 receiving yards, and he went to Illinois.
Oh, well, okay, fantasy football managers who do not have him on your rosters, which is more than likely. Jacoby
Yeah.
Myers, if you have him, I do think he gets in the end zone today. It's a very depleted Jets secondary. And he's scored in each of the past 3 games. So if you've got him on your squad, that's a good thing. Let's look at these questions here over on the Bleacher Report app. No, excuse me, on YouTube. Burrow or Allen?
Oh my goodness, a lucky 7 situation. You could tell we are now in the fantasy football playoffs because these are really good teams. I got to go with Josh Allen just simply because of the rush yards and rush TD upside.
Start one at the flex, a full PPR. Diggs. I do believe we already had this question. I'm going to skip this one. Which two should you start out of Warren, Hampton, or which two should I start out of Swift, Warren, Hampton, or should I start all three and sit Devontae Smith? We got there.
I would actually play Devontae Smith. I sit Swift. And folks, just a reminder, if you put Warren in your questions, give us like another letter in front of it. Is it Jalen
Yeah,
Warren? Is it Tyler
yeah,
Warren? There are multiple Warrens. Is it Chris Warren to go throwback Seattle Seahawks?
it
Come
was
on, we need
Williams.
more info.
Yeah, exactly. Same if there's a Williams involved as well.
Right.
Over on the Future Report app, Darren, Nick's Dart or Lawrence?
Nick starter Lawrence. I'm going to go Jackson Dart. Again, I think he's going to be a top 10 quarterback today. You love the rushing upside. I love the arm upside.
Jameson Williams or Pickens?
Oh, Pickens. What kind of effort are we going to see from him tonight after he just kind of, was half assing it really last week? I'm going to go with JMO, man. Again, I want all of the action, every single piece I can get in Rams and Lions.
Tito, I need one in flex. It's a full PPR. Jalen, Kenneth Gainwell, or Brees Hall?
Way to go with the Jalen Warren. I'm going to go with Jalen Warren over Brees Hall. The Jacksonville Jaguars have allowed the fewest rush yards of any team in the NFL to the running back position. And Gainwell, yeah, I mean, he could always snake an opportunity at the goal line. But Warren, I think he's got a great shot finding the end zone. I believe he scored 4 straight.
Over in the YouTube chat, Jay wants to know Debo or Pittman in a PPR.
You're really going to go with anybody tied to Phillip Rivers? At
Yikes.
44 years old, who hasn't thrown
Don't
a
be a
pass in
hater.
what? Oh, come on. Look, I love Philly Rivers. I really do. It's a
Right
heartwarming
arm is
story.
back, bad.
But let's be realistic. All right. He's got a grandchild who is like 22 years old, or no, yeah, 21 years old, 22. He's a grandfather. He's a grandfather. His oldest daughter, I should say, is like 21, 22. It's crazy that Phil Rivers is back. I love the story. I want nothing to do with anybody outside of Jonathan Taylor for the Indianapolis Colts today.
Can we talk Cardinals Texans? I know you probably don't really want to, but we're going to. These are two teams that are headed in complete opposite directions. Texans are favored by 10.5. Arizona's lost 5 in a row, 3-10 on the season. 5 straight wins, though, for Houston. What do you think is going to happen in this one?
Nico's going to go nuclear. I love Nico Collins. I'm going to take the over on 73.5 receiving yards against this Arizona secondary. Number 22 in drop back EPA defense. Got to get a lot of Denzel Burke coverage. Giving up a 61.1% catch rate. Nico has done this in 5 of his last 6. He is going to be a WR1 through and through in 12-team fantasy leagues this week.
I do think that Woody Marks gets into the end zone. He
Yep.
only has 5 touchdowns this season, but I think 2 games in a row after having a receiving touchdown last week and get in there again. Keep your questions coming in on both the Bleacher Report app and YouTube chat. We are trying to help you with your last second fantasy football starts, sits. Who should you play? Who should you not play? We're about 40 minutes away from kickoff right now. More flex start, Jennings or Neal in a PPR?
I like Jawan Jennings. Could be sneaky good. 5 catches, 55 to 65 yards. I think he finds the end zone as well. Give me him.
Go Vols. Pick 2, Jay Warren, Hampton, or Tracy in a full PPR.
I'm going to go Hampton for 1. God. And what was he? Jay Horn?
No,
And who
Jay
was the third?
Tracy.
Oh, Jalen Warren.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Right,
Well, that makes that a hell of a lot easier. Yeah, it's Hampton and Warren.
Okay, that's what I thought. I was like, am I not saying this right? God's Soldier, A. Mitchell or Slayton?
A.D. Mitchell or Slayton. Give me Darius Slayton. There's actually some sneaky appeal here at WR3. I debated it and that 16-teamer as well. But I have another option I'm leaning on. But somebody that certainly has upside at like 50 yards and a touchdown.
Eric Dickerson's joining us, huh? Gene T
Yeah.
or Flowers in the flex position?
I'm sorry, DK. Say it again.
Gene T or Flowers?
It's definitely not Ash and Genty. Look, they're going to step on the bus to be down 20-0. So give me Zay Flowers. It's the Bungles secondary. It's one of the worst in the NFL. Flowers should have himself a day.
All right. Odunze, Bam Knight, or Corum? Ryan wants to know.
A Doomsday Bam Night of Corum. Honestly, I go Blake Corum. I think Blake Corum's going to get at least 8 to 10 carries. Some of those may come in red zone situations, maybe possibly the goal line. There's 50 yards and a touchdown appeal there. I chase it.
We got quite a few more games to get through and not a ton of time. So let's get to Packers Broncos. Packers are favored by 1. You're looking at an Oregon State Beaver?
Yeah, go Beavs. Luke Musgrave. I'll take the over at 11.5 receiving yards. Just way too low with the threshold here at a -115. Denver's secondary is outstanding, but their area of vulnerability is across the middle of the field to pass catching tight ends. And Musgrave has done this in 4 of his last 6. Broncos, by the way, giving up 63.7 receiving yards per game to TE. So could be an X factor in this one. Maybe a possibility of pushing Green Bay over the top on the road in the Mile High City.
Jordan Love has been on a tear. 7
Yep.
touchdown passes over the last 2 games, 9 in his last 4. I'm just asking him to go over 1.5 passing touchdowns. I feel like that's not too much to ask out of somebody, especially if they want to come out of Denver with a win. Jordan Love's going to have a really big game. Okay, you've been mentioning this Lions-Rams game, how excited you are and how you think it's going to be a shootout. Obviously, the 2 quarterbacks used to play for the other teams at one point. Rams favored by 6 in this one. What do you think is going to happen?
A double revenge game narrative,
Yeah.
DK, a rarity to say the least. I think it's going to be the highest scoring game of the entire day. Oh, you can bet on that, by the way. I got it plus 200. That was outstanding.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's very doable. Stafford, 240 plus pass yards. Same thing for Jared Goff. You put those hands together, plus 134. How? I think both these guys could throw for 300. Both are easily top 6 quarterback options in fantasy. It's going to be a blitzkrieg. It's going to be a bombardment. It's going to be buku points, DK. I can't wait for Rams and Lions.
I think Kyron Williams is one of those guys that's going to put points on the board. I do think he gets into the end zone. He scored in 2 straight games, 5 of his last 6 after starting the season quietly. I do think that he crosses that end zone as well today. Okay, let's get to Panthers Saints before we get to some more of these questions. Carolina, 2.5-point road favorite, despite having lost in New Orleans by 10 earlier this season. You and I both like Ted McMillan. I think he's going to score, and at plus 160, it's looking mighty enticing. And you think he's going to do pretty well in the receiving yards market as well.
Yeah, so all nickels across the board, 55.5. I'll take the over on that. He had 60 yards in the first matchup between these 2 teams in week 10. Good to see a whole lot of Kool-Aid McKinstry, who's given up a 63.5% catch rate and the 8th most yards of any DB in the NFL. McMillan, have yourself a damn day. I think a touchdown, very doable, and I think he'll score or soar over the receiving yards prop here at 55.5.
Over on the YouTube chat, Jesse wants to know wide receiver, B. Thomas or Chuba?
Really?
Rico Suave.
Yeah, give me B. Thomas, please, over the other option there. That's a romp.
Yes. Jalen Warren, is who he meant out of him, Hampton, or Swift on which ones he should start. Thank you so much for following up there.
Yeah, it's Warren and Hampton, as already mentioned. Look, DeAndre Swift's going to have a few carries in this game, but I think the Bears going to face nothing but an overloaded box given the conditions. Even though the sun's going to be bright and shiny, again, game time tips around 9 to 10 degrees above zero in the Windy City.
Juan Hernandez, hey friends, hi. Gainwell or Krosky Merritt in the Superflex?
Yeah, with no Chris Rodriguez, JCM or Bell gets really interesting. I'll take advantage of the matchup. Again, the Giants are dead last in rush EPAD. Give me JCM.
In a classic league, Flowers or Debo?
I'm going to go the Zay Flowers route here. Again, a primo matchup. That game could be a sneaky good shootout, really between both those teams. So, yeah, slight advantage over Debo.
Okay, Brad, we got to get through these fast. We are running out of time here. We're approaching 30 minutes until kickoff. Tennessee, San Francisco. What's your favorite play there?
San Francisco -6.5. George Kittle 50 plus yards at a +110. Kittle has done this in 4 straight games. And you look at Tennessee, they're giving up well north of 50 yards per game, the tight end position.
I also think Kittle gets into the end zone. Just that alone is at +125. Mighty enticing. Seahawks and Colts. We talked about it. Phillip Rivers, he's back. You're fading him.
Yeah, give me the under on 20.5 yards, the longest completion at a -115. He's going to be out there throwing like a lead football. I think he'll be lucky to complete a pass beyond 20 yards in this game. He's 44. He hasn't thrown a pass in like 5 years. Do you realistically give him a shot against arguably one of the best secondaries in the NFL to throw a ball of 29 or more yards? Hell no. Sledgehammer that sucker. I'm under on that prop.
Oh, Seahawks are favored by 13 and a half in that game, and that means someone's got to get into the end zone there. So I do think that JSN will do exactly that. Let's get to this Cowboys and Vikings game to clear up this Sunday slate. You and I both like Javonte Williams to get into the end zone. Why don't you tell people why?
Look, Javonte Williams should be able to do work. He is cross the chalk in 9 of 14 games. He's top 5 in act per 10, missed tackles, fours, total red zone touches. And the area weakness for Skull is defending the run. Enter the week just number 20 in rush EPAD. Really good shot. He splashed a 6.
Going back to the chat here before we get to that last game, with Chris Rodriguez out, David Montgomery or Jeremy McNichols in a PPR.
Now McNichols, he's still going to be kind of a change of pace guy with JCM as a primary. Give me Montgomery, you jackal.
Mandatory Montgomery. Which two RBs would you start? K Williams or Jay Williams or Barkley?
K Williams, Jay Williams, or Barkley. Saquon is in and Kyron is in. Kyron's going to score. I agree.
Brock Bowers or Jawan Johnson?
Brock Bowers or Jawan Johnson. I got to go Bowers. You're getting way too cute with Johnson. I know it was Kenny Pickett, but really?
Yeah, Big Pharma RX wants to know Henderson, Kyron, Jay Myers, or Chuba. It's a full PPR, and he has to start 2.
I'm going to go with the 2 backs there, and Henderson and Kyron Williams. I think both are crossing the chalk.
Half PPR flex, Tony Pollard or Michael Pittman? Ooh, goes back to that.
Not Michael Pittman.
Yeah.
It's Phillip Rivers, bro. Go Tony Pollard.
If there's a theme out of Brad's mouth today, that's certainly one of them. Bear Force 44, C. Watson, Rowe, D. Slayton at wide receiver.
I'm going to go with Darius Slayton. Again, Washington is dead last in drop back EPA defense, and I believe Dart is going to uncork.
Brissett, Mariota, or is it Show?
Shuck.
I knew I was saying it wrong. As soon as they said it, I was like, that's not right. It's just how it's spelled.
Yeah, it's a really weird pronunciation of that.
Yeah.
Brissett has been a consistency king, but man, that matchup is really tough. Give me Marcus Mariota because of the rushing upside. Maybe cross the chalk with the legs. He does that. He'll definitely outplay Jacoby Brissett.
Every Sunday, we promise that we go through every single game on the slate. We're 30 minutes till kickoff, and we got one more to go. It's Miami and the Steelers. Steelers are favored by a field goal here. Brad, what's your favorite play in it?
Oh, I got a plan for some Devon Achane. Give me him 125 plus rushing and receiving yards at a +120. Again, rolling the shoulders and getting seduced by that juice, DK. This is a ridiculous value in my estimation. Why he's done this in 3 of his last 4 games. He has been peak efficient all season long. The Dolphins barely have a chance to make the NFL postseason. So a little bit on the line here for them. And with no TJ Watt, out with that collapsed lung. Pittsburgh, even with TJ Watt over the last 5 weeks, number 29 in rush EPAD. Achane is going to have himself a game.
Let's get to these final questions here. We've gone through every single game on the slate. We've got to get these last ones in here from the Bleacher Report app and on YouTube. Whoa, all day, be strange or Harold Fannin at tight end?
Harold Fannin. Again, I think minimum you're talking 5 receptions today, probably north of 40 yards, decent shot to find the end zone.
Over on YouTube, again, Jay Carr, full PPR, Tyler Warren or Theo Johnson?
Do I trust Tyler Warren and Phillip Rivers? No! Theo Johnson.
Look, we got a defense question. That's fun. Would you start the Seahawks defense or the Eagles defense today?
Seattle, dude. Phillip Rivers, good for at least 1 pick, and that could be of the pick 6 variety.
Even I'm tired of listening to you talk about Philip Rivers at this point. Bills fans 17-19. RB2 spot open and the flex spot open. So who should he start? Here's your list. Woody Marks, Wandale Robinson, Ginty, or Judkins.
I'm going to go Woody Marks and Quinshawn Judkins. Both are going to have probably at least 20 carries today and a decent shot at finding the end zone.
Robbie Schmurda, full point. Gainwell, Worthy, or Addison.
Gainwell, Worthy, or Addison. Addison's out of the equation. I don't trust AJ McCarthy. Give me Kenneth Gainwell. I got a sneaky suspicion him and Jalen Warner both got to find the end zone.
Two more questions left before we have to say goodbye here on this Sunday and send you on your way. Juwan Johnson or Ferguson?
Ferguson, assuming he's active, he is questionable. So make sure you tune in the actives and actives to confirm that he is indeed in uniform.
And I left this one last on purpose because why don't you just slam your point home with an exclamation point to Lambda Boy, half PPR flex, Tony Pollard or Michael Pittman?
What on earth are people doing with their culture? Philip Rivers almost is the same age. Look at me. Do you think I can play quarterback in the NFL at this rate, at this age? No, not at my peak. Come on, give me a break with Rivers. I love you, Phil. You're a borderline Hall of Famer. It's great to have you back, but you have to fade the Colts outside of Jonathan Taylor. Play Tony Pollard.
Oh, and with that, ladies and gentlemen, if he hasn't made his point clear enough, let's just watch and see how the Seahawks-Colts game unfolds, shall we? All of them, in fact. We are less than 30 minutes away from kickoff. Enjoy your Sunday. We'll be here next week as well. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. We'll see you next time.
Bye.